You know that feeling when you move into a new house and everything feels off? The way the floorboards creak just a little too loud? How the shadows in the hallway don't quite match the furniture? That's how it started for me. My name's Alex. I just rented a cheap apartment on the outskirts of town. The landlord said it was a steal. Quiet neighborhood, he promised. Friendly faces. He forgot to mention the knocks. The first night, I thought it was a mistake, a lost delivery driver. I opened the door. Nothing. Just the empty street, the flickering streetlight, and the cold October wind. The second night, it happened again. Same time, 3:33 a.m. But this time, I peered through the peephole. A woman stood there, pale. Her hair hung in wet, tangled strands, and her eyes, they were solid black, no whites, just endless dark pits. She smiled. I didn't open the door that night. By the third night, I called the police. They found nothing. No footprints, no fingerprints, just me, sleep-deprived and paranoid. The officer said, maybe it's stress. But I knew, night 4, 5, 6, every time, knock, 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 knock. Every time, her face in the peephole, closer, darker. On the 7th night, I snapped, "What do you want?" Silence. Then, a small voice. "Let me in, Alex. It's cold out here." I opened the door. She wasn't there. Instead, a little girl, maybe 6 years old, soaking wet like she'd crawled out of a lake. Her eyes normal, blue, pleading. "Please," she said. "He's coming." I brought her inside. Gave her a blanket. Asked her name. "Emily," she whispered. "He drowns us, over and over." That's when I noticed the water. It pooled around her feet, rising, spreading. And in the reflection, I saw him. A man, tall, bloated, skin like rotting seaweed. His mouth, stitches, dozens of crisscrossing black threads. Emily grabbed my arm. "He's here!" The lights blew out. The room flooded. I dragged Emily upstairs, but the water chased us, rising, churning. We barricaded in the bathroom. Emily sobbed. "He's angry. He wants me back." Then, the knocking started again. Knock, 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 but not on the front door. "Stay away." The door exploded inward. The last thing I saw, Emily's blue eyes turning black. I moved out the next day, but sometimes, at 3:33 a.m., I still hear the knocks. You think running away fixes things? It doesn't. I left that apartment, burned my clothes, changed my number, but the knocks, they followed me. My new house was supposed to be safe, a cottage in the woods, no neighbors, no streetlights. But on the first night, knock, knock, knock. This time, it wasn't the front door. It was my bedroom window. I didn't look. I couldn't. But the voice, "Alex, you left me with him." I screamed into the dark. "What do you want from me?" The window exploded. Cold water surged in, soaking the floor. And then, Emily stood there, but she wasn't the little girl anymore. Her skin was bloated, hair green with algae, and her eyes, black, just like his. "He made me like him," she moaned. "You have to help us. Find the others." "Others?" She pointed to the wall. Names, dozens of them, carved into the rotting wood. Emily, Jacob, Sarah, all crossed out, except one, Lucas, 14 Birch Road. That's how I ended up here, at Lucas's house. A crumbling Victorian mansion. And what I found inside was worse than Emily, worse than him. Lucas wasn't alone. 5 children, all drowned, all with black eyes. They sat in a circle, chanting, "He takes us, he breaks us, we drown the world." The floor vanished. I was underwater, struggling, drowning. Then, a hand grabbed mine. It was Emily. "The only way to stop him," she hissed, "is to find where he drowned and burn it." So here I am, at the edge of Blackwater Lake. Emily says his body is here, trapped under the ice. But the knocks, they're louder now. If you don't hear from me again, don't answer the door. Part 3. The Truth About Blackwater Lake. I should have listened to Emily, but now I'm standing on Blackwater Lake. The ice is thin, brittle, and beneath it, he waits. The townsfolk warned me about this place. Don't go near the lake, they said, especially not in winter, but they wouldn't say why. Now I know. Knock, knock, knock. Emily's voice hissed in my head. Burn it. Burn him. I poured gasoline over the ice, lit the match, but the flame turned blue. The ice split. A hand-rotting, stitched, seaweed skin shot out and grabbed my ankle. I plunged into the freezing water, darkness, pressure, and then I saw him. The drowned man. His stitches pulsed like black worms. His eyes sickly yellow-locked onto mine. You shouldn't have come, Alex. His voice echoed in my skull. Now you'll join them. Emily appeared beside him, her black eyes streaming algae. I'm sorry, Alex. He's too strong. Number? I wouldn't end like this. The gasoline can floated nearby. I grabbed it. Burn in hell, I screamed, and sparked the lighter. The lake erupted in flames. His screams, the children's cries, it all faded. But so did my breath. I woke up on the shore, alive. But when I looked into the lake's reflection, my eyes flickered black. He's gone. But the knocks, they're inside me now. They say you can't kill a curse. You can only pass it on. After Blackwater Lake, I thought I'd won. The drowned man was ash. The knocks stopped. Even Emily's ghost faded. But the blackness in my eyes, it grew. At first, it was just a shadow in the corner of my vision. Then, whispers. You're ours now, Alex. I tried everything. Holy water, salt circles, even a priest. But on the 7th night, the knocks weren't at the door. They were inside my chest. Knock, knock, knock. That's when I understood. The drowned man wasn't the source. He was a vessel, just like me. The real evil was older, hungrier. I saw him fully that night, not the bloated corpse from the lake. A shapeless mass of darkness, 1,000 stitched mouths, 1,000 black eyes. And it wanted out, so I did the only thing left. I went back to where it all began. The abandoned apartment, the water stains on the walls. They'd spread, black mold shaped like screaming faces. And on the floor, a photo, torn, faded, a group of children, 1800s clothing. Emily stood in the center. On the back, scrawled in blood-red ink, he drowned us here first. Burn it all. I doused the walls, the floor, the cursed door where it began. The flames roared to life. The mold screamed. The shadows writhed. And inside my mind, the children cried. Thank you, Emily whispered. I laid down in the center. Let the fire take me. The last thing I felt was peace. 3 months later, hi, I'm Clara. My husband and I just bought this renovated apartment. It's such a steal. Did you hear that? The cycle continues. If you survived this story, hit subscribe. Because the knocks aren't over yet, tap the bell, or he might visit you next.